Dad's workshop, making some blocks today. Started working on this brace, which I think is going to be the right size for this. The brace housing will have to be cut precisely. Right there and right there. Daniel, welcome Daniel. What's been going on, Daniel? Yep, I understand. Glad you came, Daniel. It's, I'm not usually here on, what is it? Is it Thursday or is it Friday today? I forget. But I didn't get in the earlier days of the week, so. Working on blocks right now. Yeah. Yeah, man. Mo money, mo problems. As Biggie Smalls once said, being coached by Diddy. Pretty sure that Diddy wrote a lot of those raps, man. I hate to say it because I love Biggie so much. But just the stuff in them, it was disturbing back then. I'm like, man, tied up in the basement. What is he talking about? This man didn't tie nobody up in the basement. Oh, but turns out, Diddy was his right-hand man, so definitely could be people tied up in the basement. make these little blocks that fit together, bridles. I think this one should fit a little tighter though. Or I got another chisel that can get in there. It's hot. Reset, how's the weather here? The weather's, it's hot. Warm and humid. You know, not super pleasant for me. I like being out here when it's like cool. Now this one's a little loose, but I guess for kids' blocks it doesn't matter. You kind of want to make them a little tighter than that though. The idea is to build a set of kids' blocks where they can really toy around and fidget with these things and kind of get geometric shapes in their mind. This is the kind of thing that opens up a kid's mind and makes them smarter. To have blocks that have, you know, joinery and fittings on them, where they can kind of play around with structural engineering, basically. IMO. This is like a really small turnout. We had a number of people in here a minute ago. Now I have one. What is going on here, man? What is YouTube doing to my channel? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. Like, maybe my internet connection, the close-up shots usually work. I don't know. I can't trip on it, Daniel. I just got to keep doing me and just let the world fall in as they are going to, man. You know, we ain't tripping. We're just going to keep going. Oh, now I understand, Daniel. Appreciate you, man. And plus, I can't hold y'all to anything. I know y'all are friends of the show, but people have stuff they got to do. You know. Shout out Daniel Gandar. Shout out Ruiz, friends of the program. Yesterday we had Chardonnay in for a bit. That was nice as well. Maybe she'll pop in tonight if she has time. No, she's a busy lady. She's always got good input, good questions. That's a better fit right there. Let me put this mic up here on this paper. Maybe that'll help with the sound. Just trying to make a unique set of kids blocks. You know, these are going to be bridal jointed. Yeah. Yeah, you should get it right up, man. Put Chardonnay in here, someone who's actually seen me write people up in real life. Yeah, man, you guys need a write up, man. You gotta show up. You know, when To be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. That's all I'm going to say, even though that's not that appropriate for us. Let me pull the chat down. Yeah, write-ups going around, man. Write-ups for everybody. Like a new teacher, just write everybody up. The whole class, because I don't want to single individuals out. I just write everybody up. The idea here is to make bridle jointed children's blocks that kids can kind of just connect at their leisure and play with, that are safe, not chokeable items. Kids like different kinds of blocks. There's kind of always the same kind of blocks we get. They all look the same. I'm gonna build some that look like that too. But I wanted to start with some that had bridle joints so that the kids can practice like connecting them, or somebody who's also, this is kind of like a little mini timber frame kit. We're going to make it's going to be a little kit. This is a little too shallow of a joint here. It needs to go in a little bit more. Yep. Look at that. Maybe me losing my mallet will get attention. Yeah, good for small brains, but not in the way that people think, in a derogatory way. Good for the growing brain, right? Can't say that, but yeah. I'll let the chat roll. I'll let the chat roll with that. The blocks are meant for kids, but the channel's not, so that's fine. That's a little closer. Now I have to flip it over and get that other side back to the cut line. I can tell it's not. Took my kids to the amusement park this weekend, or we went to the amusement park. I didn't get on any roller coasters, not because I'm scared, but just I just don't feel like getting jostled around, man. I'd rather just, I guess I'd rather just sit there on my phone and wait for my kids to ride roller coasters. I'm getting old. I don't like thrills that much anymore. Oh, yeah. I was kind of like that, man, because kids come in late. Like, I didn't stand with detention slips, but I would leave the kids at the door, and they have to sign a tardy log, and because I didn't like stopping class every time I had an interruption. I'm not going to stop class because you want to come in 5 minutes late. I got to get started and do what I got to do, So I would make them sign a tardy log. It was an excuse to call parents of kids that cause problems and their parents. So here we go. Here's some teacher strategy. I'm about to dump some knowledge on you right now. Teachers are scared to call parents, not news, right? Teachers are scared to call parents. The reason they're scared to call parents is often because they've behaved badly. They've said or done something out of anger that they shouldn't have, and they know the kids have kept a log of that. And also, they're scared to call parents because they know the parents will try to defend their child's actions. And the way that you get around that is by calling parents a lot. And the first thing that you do is you call a parent when their child is late a number of times, because there's no subjectivity to someone showing up late. It's not my opinion. It's not how I feel about someone. It's not that I hate someone's skin color or the way their face looks. It's just that they showed up for class so many minutes late. And there's no arguing that a parent can do about that. So if you get that position, I hate to say it, like positional advantage over a kid who's got behavioral issues, it's going to angle you to have the power so that the kid knows that you're in charge. You've already contacted their parent about them being late. Their parent couldn't argue. And after that, it's just a flow. All you got to do is just, I hate to say get them, but like when they do something small or a number of things, well, you've already called about them being late. You've already called about that, and the parent's not going to argue with you anymore because you were polite and so forth, and you try to give them a chance. So that's why I did that a little bit. It wasn't really because I cared that much about people being late. It was because it was an opportunity to talk to the parents on a playing field that was kind of to my advantage, if that makes sense. Now what I want to do with these blocks is I actually want to cut mortises into the blocks too, so that we can stick blocks down into it like this, and then have more joints on the block. So here's a brace that I would like to cut as well. So let me get into that a little bit. I think the next thing to do is to kind of size areas where I can put beams. These probably, if we did like a drilled a hole down through here and put a little tenon on there, we could probably have another joint right there. Same thing right here. So just thinking about what I could do with these different pieces. We'll Bob Ross it. We'll Mr. Rogers it a little bit. This I've got fit, so it should be at 2 inches. Like 2 inches and 2 13/16 is what I got for the actual width from tip to tip of the hypotenuse of the triangle. But I'm probably gonna have to size a tenon into that. I just cut this with my bandsaw right before we started. So I'm trying to figure out a way that we can incorporate little braces into this piece too. That would be nice as well. But for now, I'm going to tighten up these bridle joints. This is also a way you can make a frame. If you're trying to make a picture frame or a frame for something, like I'll probably make one for my jerseys. I got a Magic Johnson signed jersey and a Juan Cortez signed jersey. Juan Cortez, is that it? The highest paid baseball player. I got his jersey when he was a national. I got that signed. So I got those two. So I want to make some frames for those. I've got another jersey in here in a frame that I did not make. But yeah, you can also use these bridle joints to make frames like this as well. I cut these in the bandsaw just out of scrap lumber. Oh, thanks, Ruiz. Yeah, my mallets are fire. I love them. Thank you. Well, I mean, I should have had y'all in on my bracket. I don't know if you joined my bracket competition, but I think I got Florida winning the Final Four. I mean, definitely Duke could take them. Isn't it Duke and Houston in the next game? I stopped watching it because I was so blown by this the end of that Ole Miss game. It just, this just bothered me. The Ole Miss game was that Houston might win the whole thing. They're the dark horse, really. They're good. Houston's no joke. So my tenons are, let me measure these real quick. I think they are, yeah, it's a ½ an inch in. So I'll go ahead and mark up man. I can already smell myself sweating in here. Feels like summer again, man. And I know I'm complaining and some of you guys are in Texas and stuff. Got to be a 1/2 inch from the wide side. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. If you're new to the channel, click that like button and subscribe, and check out my short that I made today about making these little blocks. Your moment of zen. Also, join the Discord, and you know, if you're rich, drop a donation on the GoFundMe, you know. Because I'm not. I'm poor. Shout out to everybody who's supported the channel in the ways that they've supported it. You know, appreciate that. Just being here is your presence is your presence. You know. Someone's gonna have to hit me with the what is GOHASF. I don't know that one. That's how bad I am with this stuff. All right, and then I took the line back. The shoulder is that's 1 1/8 inches. I don't like that distance, but yeah, 1 1/8 inches. We're gonna make a variety of blocks. I'll probably spend the next couple days doing these blocks. Just playing around with different Where's my speed triangle? That's what I really need right now. Oh, there it is. I'm not getting a straight line across there. Move the microphone closer so you can hear me. I got my papers. Yeah, man, that's the trust of the Trump's America, I guess. Whew, I'm white. I'm just kidding. It's a horrible thing to say. All in the world of tariffs that we live in. Trump ain't playing though, man. That's for sure. He ain't out there playing with people. Definitely, man. Gotta laugh. If you can't laugh, if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry, and I'd rather laugh than cry, man. You know, just me. For sure. 1 1/8 inches. Shoulder down 1 1/8 inches here. Each one of these is a 1/2 inch. I tried to separate because we have 1.5 inches divided by 3 is, you know, a 1/2 inch. So it's divided into 3 parts of a 1/2 inch. I start with the top, making scribe marks in the top. I mean, these with a pencil are not perfectly accurate, but these are kids' blocks, so it's not that essential. I mean, you want them to fit. I did some of these like these with lap joints for my kids a long time ago, you know. I didn't do bridle joints like this. I did lap joints so they could just set them on top of each other, kind of like Lincoln logs, like square Lincoln logs, basically. Because I was bored during the pandemic and thought that making some, using the bandsaw, putting together some blocks was probably a good idea. It actually was, because my kids really like to play with them. And one of my sons is pretty good at this kind of stuff. Actually, they all have potential. They just don't enjoy it as much as one. That's my son, Julian. He loves this stuff. Sometimes pops on the live stream. Shout out, Julian. I don't need to give him a fake name like some of these fake ass YouTubers that come up with different names for their kids, like call him Jaguar Paw or something. Ooh, everyone gives a shit. Excuse me. Sorry. I hope I don't lose my monetization from that. No one cares about your child. At least I don't. I'm not gonna. But that, I did see a really terrible true crime story where the lady basically stalked this lady with a baby, pretended to be social services. Y'all may be aware of this story. And then she kidnapped the baby, killed the mom. Crazy, man. So, yeah. And that happened because she had a social media presence online, and they figured out she talked about all of her dealings in court and having her kids taken away by Child Protective Services. This was an evil person, and she decided she would use that as a way to steal this woman's child and try to pass it off as her own. Yeah, she got caught pretty quickly. I don't even think her family bought it. She had been pretending to be pregnant and all this other stuff. But the moral of the story is, like the podcast I listen to, I don't care what your child's name is. You want to say your kid's name? Please say your kid's name. Don't call your kid by a fake name. And it's so ridiculous. Like, you're that important. No one honestly cares. There's a million channels, a million podcasts, a million live streams. Unless you're giving out your address and personal stuff that's going on in your life, you're probably fine. There we go. We got bridal cut here. I got to decide which one's male, which one's female. Though I need really with these two. I was thinking about making one end one end the other. That way the kid can kind of mess with doing, but I also have to think about roof, like how they can make a roof if they're trying to make a house. So I was looking at roofing joinery, or as they say in Minnesota, roughing joinery. Yeah, no, man, that is true. Yeah, man, that's true. That's exactly what it was. She was just obsessed. Hey, Robert G, welcome, Robert G, friend of the program. Welcome to a special, what is it, Thursday or Friday today? Can somebody tell me what day of the week it is? Hold on. Thursday. All right, confirmed it's Thursday. Um, yeah, welcome to a special Thursday edition. Not a normal everyday live stream because we do Monday through Wednesday, but we may have to expand here shortly to get the viewing hours we need to get this channel to the next level. Yeah, move quick. I didn't know what day it was. Like, I had my kids Monday and Tuesday, so that threw me. I kept thinking that Wednesday or yesterday was Monday. It felt like Monday. This right here is a little corner brace. I'm going to design these here. Should be at 2 inches, really. 2 inches away from the corner. So the hypotenuse is 2 13/16, but where the joint starts is 2 inches away from 2 inches away from the corner, both directions, up and down. It's tricky to do these, but I find it a challenge that I like. I did the end. I'm looking at my joint right now. I think I did the back side of these wrong. I was kind of in a rush to do it before my live stream. But kids like blocks, and we're gonna do blocks. So that's what we're doing. Yeah. I don't want to unplug my lights and use the bandsaw. I could probably do this with I've got my new razor, or not my new razor saw, my favorite razor saw back, so I could probably do these cuts with that. We'll call this one a male. And we'll call this one here, which I have not laid out yet completely, a female. But let me lay that out first, since that's the boring part. 1.125" down to the shoulder line. Key and peel, man. Every once in a while, I just have to drop an Instagram reel that's just Key and Peele doing something that they do, because they're just hilarious, man. Those two guys, they think of it all. Which one was it? Peel, that's the Detroit Lions fan. I felt so bad for him, man. He was getting into the line so much. I was like, this is about to come to an end. The Lions were doomed, all those wins. Same with the Vikings. The Vikings were doomed with all their wins. I knew that. Saw that one coming. Can't win 15 straight games into the playoffs. I think that's been proven numerous times in football history. You'd rather lose your way in. Back into the playoffs, you're in better shape. Anyway, one of those guys is a huge oh nah, man, they already decided. Question was, are the Vikes going to get A-Rod? The answer is no. They've already moved in a different direction, as far as I know. Unless you're reading something I'm not, man. I thought they had decided they weren't going to go that direction. Now, if they do, I do think that because of the scenario, A-Rod is going to have to humble himself and know that he is not the quarterback of the future. He's not considered the quarterback of the future, nor is he the head football coach of that team, and shouldn't be considered the head football coach of that team, nor is he the general manager of the team, and shouldn't be considered as such. He is a quarterback. He should be on like a $5 million or less contract for 1 year, and then let the chips fall where they may. Maybe he can earn a job somewhere else. We're not looking to have Aaron Rodgers as course. So if he does come, I know Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, that's a mouthful, but that's the general manager. He is not going to make a deal with Aaron Rodgers that isn't Aaron Rodgers coming to Jesus, man. Straight up. Aaron Rodgers got to come to Jesus, because you can't expect that a team is going to pull you in. You're 40-something years old. He's like my age. He's been playing since forever. Yeah, back in the day, he was super good. He's one of the most talented, maybe the most talented quarterback ever. But he is a toxic force in the locker room. Everybody and their mother knows it. So you can't bring him on a team that's not completely emotionally and like their team has to be secure. They have to be a unit. The management has to be a unit, because when Rodgers fails, and he might fail, it's a good chance, you have to be prepared to let him go without losing your team around him. What happened with Devontae Adams? His ass got cut. Just that quick. There's no good quarterbacks in this draft class. IMO. I do not believe there is good quarterbacks in the current draft class, man. Maybe, what are the two guys on the top? Shador is going to go to the Giants, right? I think the Giants are going to have Shador, and they have Russell Wilson. So now they've got Russell Wilson and Shador over there. Obviously, I don't know where Daniel Jones went. He got a job somewhere too, I think. Yeah, none. The top quarterbacks on this draft class are not even like 9 or 10 in last year's. Last year's quarterback draft class, I know it was exceptional, but um, there's nobody on this year that even touches the talent. I watched the combine last year too. It was amazing. Look, what's his name? Bo Nix. Bo Nix has a rocket for an arm, and he's considered like the trashiest quarterback of that class. His team went to the playoffs, right? Like he, as a rookie, he threw a pass 68 yards through the air, and it was received in his rookie season. Jaden Daniels. Caleb Williams had a horrible season. He was one of the better. He's going to be fine. But Jaden Daniels, uh, Bo Nix. Bo Nix got a rocket for an arm, dude. Anybody, if the Broncos mess up with Bo Nix, he'll go somewhere and be successful. I have no doubt. Nah, that last draft was good, man. Did you watch those kids? Xavier Worthy ran a 40-yard dash, broke the record or tied the record, and then was like, nah, run it back, run it back. Went back, and right after he ran it again and broke the record. Like it was just another day at the track, man. Another day at the office for him. Xavier Worthy. Now the Vikes, we lost our number one draft pick cornerback to a fatal car accident last year, so maybe you need to look in that department. Edge rushers. I don't think there's like any quarterbacks in this draft class that are worth paying attention to. Just my opinion. See how I can pin this in here. Might actually work like that. Jalen Milrow. You didn't even name the two top guys. It's Shador and it's one other guy, man. What's the other guy's name? I gotta Google Milrow. Travis Hunter. Is that right? Does that sound right? Cam Ward, right? So even Cam Ward, I mean, if I'm looking at this list, none of these guys were super impressive. I watched a bunch of college football this season. Um, where's the Manning kid? Is he on here? Get him in like a late round. Get what's his name? Archie Manning the third. Pick him up. Archie Manning. That's the one you want. Yeah, Cam Ward. That's the one everybody's talking about, but it's probably a bust, to be honest. Most of them are, man. Last year was an exception. Got to use the rip cutting side of this saw. See, we got a. This is my favorite saw here. I hope the head doesn't fall off. I've been having struggles with that. And cut. like my little rigged up, just coincidence that it happens to fit in there perfectly. If you have no this, I love this question, man. Yeah, I probably would, man. I love Ole Miss, but Ole Miss's strength this year was not Jackson Dart so much as their defense. And a lot of their players entered the portal before like bowl season, so we didn't get to see a lot of Ole Miss after the regular season. But yeah, Jackson Dart, I liked him. I liked Ole Miss's team in general this year. Again, using the wider teeth here because I'm rip cutting here. Yeah, but let me say something about that because like rookie contracts are cheap. So actually, if I'm gonna get a quarterback, man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go for a, I don't know, man. I would trade for like a Bo Nix. I would trade for a QB like that. Man, he could take your team to the Super Bowl, in my opinion, this year. So it's not going to be a rookie quarterback because rookie quarterbacks are cheap. I'm going to spend the money on one of these guys from last year's draft class. I'll tell you. What's that quarterback for the Jaguars? Get him for cheap. But yeah, Shador would probably be my best bet, actually. Not Cam Ward, not Jackson Dart. I would get Shador, give him a shot because he's talented. He's going to be good. Got the quote-unquote pedigree. Right? This is the male, so the other cut that needs to be made is through the sides of these down the shoulder. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. I like Trevor Lawrence, man. Look, his best receiver was supposedly Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is trash, man. That dude can't even catch. How do you get a job in the NFL as a receiver when you can't catch? I don't understand it. Yeah, he had no protection. His line was bad. His line was bad. I like Trevor Lawrence, man. I'd probably give him a decent deal. Nothing too like because you can get him for cheap. See, I always think Moneyball, man. That's the way I'm always thinking. I don't think like spend. I think what can you get for the money that's worth it. So it's hard to get my mind out of that mode, you know. Using the cross-cutting side here. Man, I love talking to y'all. Y'all are fun. Love talking sports. Oh man, well, look, on JJ, we have to give him a chance. But yeah, I watched the combine last year and he was a very poised quarterback under pressure at the combine. He's considered an extremely poised quarterback in general. Poise is so important. Look at what Sam Darnold did in the playoffs. That's why as Vikings fans, we have a very hard time saying we want to keep a quarterback because they win regular season games. As Vikings fans, we don't want a quarterback who's going to win regular season games. That doesn't matter. We want a quarterback who can get us to the postseason and shows up when it counts and has poise and doesn't double clutch and take sacks. He took like 14 sacks. It was like the record number of sacks. It was ridiculous. It was like Kirk Cousins climbed into Sam Darnold and just like made him Kirk Cousins out, man. So we gotta, yeah, no, I can't do that kind of quarterback, and I understand J.J. McCarthy is He's going to have his hiccups, man. You know, he's basically going to be a rookie coming out there. But I would say I'm a 7.5 out of 10 in confidence that J.J. McCarthy is the future quarterback of the Vikings. 7.5 out of 10 to answer your question. Seven 7.5. I think that's a fair grade too, because you got to prove, like, I've never seen a rookie quarterback. Now they kind of said the same thing about Christian Ponder back in like 2011. Appreciate the skull chants. We love those here. They did kind of say the same thing about Christian Ponder back like in 2011 and complete bust. So it didn't happen. So yeah, that's where the 2.5 comes off. But nah, J.J. McCarthy is he's not. I don't think he's a Christian Ponder. And here we have a male-sided bridle joint for a block. Now for this, I actually have to shape out these ends and do that part, which is tricky, and I also have to space it out on there. I started to make marks. I might do that off camera in the next couple of days, but I'll go ahead and do my last thing. I'll saw this female section and we'll chisel that out. I'm gonna make like 3 cuts through this thing. Change your mind. All right, Warren Moon. I'm gonna have to say that I like Dante Culpepper over Warren Moon. Warren Moon was a beast, though, man. We got these Hall of Fame quarterbacks right on their way out. Maybe Brett Favre was the greatest quarterback who ever played for the Vikings. I don't know. That 2009 season was pretty magical. Yeah, Staubach. He's also really old. I had a Staubach autograph for a minute too. Said, "Hi, Calvin." Roger Staubach on it. My dad got it for me. Also met Terry Bradshaw at the Dallas Fort Worth airport when I was down there. Super nice guy. Waited for me in the hangar for 15 minutes to take a picture with me. Yeah, well, he also had a laser rocket arm, you know, that helps too. But yeah, he did. He had Chris Carter and Moss. Let's put Carter in there also. Chris Carter could still one-hand catch it. When you're rip cutting stuff, it's basically just tearing through the grain. That's why you don't use as many teeth when you do it. Yeah, he had Moss. He also had Chris Carter, so I guess it's even more unfair, right? Welcome to Dad's Workshop, where we talk sports too. We talk about all kinds of stuff in here because that's what you do when you're working on stuff. You talk about stuff, right? And we're working on stuff all the time in here. Right now, we're working on some blocks. Make sure you like and subscribe. I know there's not a whole ton of you in here right now, but I appreciate y'all being here anyway. I'm going to cut this last female bridle joint. Well, I don't have a cut line there, so I got to follow that other side. And one more. love that smell. That spruce smell. Pretty good. I mean, not perfect, but we aim for perfection and end up with mediocrity, and we don't get mad about it. Is that what you are? You're dominating the chat, man. Dominating the chat. Dominating the chat. That's what you're doing. You're like the Trevor Lawrence of chatters. It's like, nah. You're like the Jalen Hurts of chat people. It may be annoying, but you're going to continue to dominate it. Michael Jordan of chat. It's a Jordan. Now the kids say Kobe. Kobe, don't they? They don't say LeBron. People just don't care for LeBron. I don't know. Why not? What's wrong with LeBron, right? You know? Keep loving, appreciate you. It is probably mathematically more than me and him, but appreciate you being here. Keep loving. Keep loving. Daniel's chilling too. Oh, no, it's okay, man. Female part, we're gonna oh, I should have made 3 cuts in here, but I think I can take that chunk out without doing that. This is a Ryoba saw. Thank you for the excellent question. Keep loving. This is a Ryoba saw. It's a 2-sided saw. One side is for cross cutting. One side is for rip cutting. So you can cut with the grain, right, and against the grain. The finer side is for against the grain. That's cross cutting. The more well spaced teeth, that's the rip cutting side. So what if you go back and watch this live again? I kind of talk about that. I say I'm using the rip cutting side, using the cross cutting side. So excellent question, adding value to my video. Appreciate you. Keep loving and keep watching. Keep loving. I'm making a stop cut right now so that I don't blow out wood below where I want to share. And I didn't, usually I would make if I had a bandsaw, I would go and run this through the bandsaw again here in the middle. But I'm not going to use the bandsaw because I don't like to use power tools on here, especially since it takes away from I have only so much power, like anything I can use. Drawing a lot using lights. Another stop cut. You can kind of make a stop cut by just pressing down if your chisels are sharp, which we also talk about on this channel quite a bit, sharpening of tools. Now that I got those stop cuts, I'll go ahead and do them on the other side too. Stop cut, it's just a chisel cut at the end or the shoulder line that you use to keep from blowing out wood. This one, my shoulder line looks wrong on this side. I'm gonna have to go by this side here and redraw my line around probably. Chisel sharpness is all right. I probably could sharpen a few of them, but I haven't used many chisels on my last few jobs, so I still have pretty sharp chisels at the moment. That's Keep Loving did a good job redirecting us back to wood related content. It's redirection right there. See how that just takes the chip up? I might zoom in so you can see how that works. It's really an important technique to use, especially when you don't have the ability to saw multiple times here. Yes, this is going to be the female bridle joint here, so the inside will be removed and it will, the other side will slide in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to periodically here tap and make another stop cut so I don't blow out. And then I come down the grain, which is the easy way, because in woodwork, we're always trying to use the wood's weaknesses against it to our advantage, and we use the strength to our advantage when we're putting it together. Here, going down the grain is the weakness. And because we're making a joint like this, against that grain is the strength. So this bridle joint is a very strong joint. It's not real secure, but it's strong and it won't snap. Woodwork, all about using, that's the key too. If you're not a super expert of it, I learned how to build these joints like my bed here, this bunk bed project. A lot of these were joints that I just was like, this is the joint I want. This is a strong joint. I didn't ask an engineer. I've got a bunch of engineers on my Facebook. They probably would tell me if it was wrong. So I actually had, when I built the garage, when I did the weight holders, I had engineers on there telling me that my holders of those weights wouldn't work. That was about 8 months ago. They're still holding, and they've had weights put on them multiple times. They told me the stresses that they were enduring were not gonna allow for that. And I was pretty sure, man. I have a good instinct for these kind of things. It's like a little bit of an engineering instinct, and I'm a right-brained guy, so it's not a left-brained thing. I definitely acknowledge my weaknesses. I also hone in on those a lot. I hone in on my weaknesses and try to make those parts stronger. So now we're getting down to the bottom of this female section. I actually like the way this joint's coming out better than the ones I sawed, so maybe on my next couple, I will probably do these with chisels instead of trying to saw out stop cuts in the middle and do them that way. But yeah, keep loving. We got a bunch of content about this kind of stuff. We mostly just hang out. We don't put up detailed stuff. When I monetize and stuff like that, I'll put up detailed plans of everything, and I'll have Patreon and all that. You know, we'll get to that. But what I'm trying to do is grow the channel now. We've been going for about, I don't know, 8 months or 9 months and growing pretty steadily. So now we've got one side that I can test it out here. That's a little wide. Not super happy with that's a little bit loose. But these are children's blocks, so it's all right. And we're gonna build another one up, so that's okay. But what we're trying to do is, and this shoulder, it looks like the shoulder needs to come in, or the back of the joint is a little bit too far forward here. So this is when you do these little small ones, it gets a little tricky with getting the tenons exactly the right size here. Oh, no magnets. Yeah. Definitely if you were building a frame, you would just glue this up, right? Or put a dowel through it. But that is a little bit on the loose side. Not super happy about that. Just that's ADHD when you start talking and you're cutting wood. All right, so I made a stop cut in the top here. Now I'm going to chisel out this waist too. This one looks a little more like the size it should be. So this one might be tighter fit. They're not too loud for me. Keep Loving said our power tools too loud for me. The guys on here know I love power tools. I just don't use them on the live stream because some people come in and out for ASMR. They want to relax and just either listen to me just talk, or they want to hear the sounds of the tools, and they don't want loud noises. I've noticed that besides the tapping of the mallet and sanding and stuff, loud tools irritate the audience, or like pushes people away. So I use power tools. I have a bandsaw right behind me. I've got this. These guys have seen me use my beam saw. Yeah, no, the joint, this is not going to be structural, so it's just a toy. They're just going to be fitting these together while they're fidgeting, waiting to do their next thing, playing with another kid or whatever it is, you know. Yeah, I'm not too worried about them being tight fit. I'd like them to be a little tighter than what that last one was, but I'm not going to trip about it. And you just alter between these two different motions, and you see how quickly that waste came out. It's all out of there now. It's just about cleaning it out. And these guys know I've cut joints, big joints on the live stream. If you get sharp tools and you got a good technique, you can carve out a joint pretty quickly. I watched this documentary about the Middle Ages. It talked about stonemasons and how they could cut a stone with the actual like mortise and tenon on the stone, chisel it from a raw rock to that in just a matter of a couple hours. That's how good they were with rocks. Thought it was amazing. Oh, let's check this side and see if it's a little better fit. See, it's about the same. Well, it's a little tighter. So boom, there we have it. Bridle joints, male and female. Wizards existed. Yeah, so in the Middle Ages, the stonemasons were, just look at the stonework. Like, look at Notre Dame, look at any of the cathedrals, any of the castles built. They built their walls 8 to 10 feet thick in stone. And so these guys had to work tremendously fast in order to put a castle up in a matter of 20 or 30 years because the building took so much time. Now, castles would have been a stone frame with what do they call it? With some buttressing usually, but I forget what they call the wall that goes around the keep. So the keep is the center of the castle, the tower house. But all of the insides of the castle and the roofing and all of that stuff would have been timber frame, just like a cathedral. So cathedral stone frame, buttressing, and then woodwork, really detailed woodwork for the inside. And when Notre Dame burned down recently, it was the woodwork that was damaged. The stone was pretty much preserved, but all the wood, detailed wood carving and wood roofing that they had inside the cathedral was catastrophically damaged. So who built the pyramids? I think humans built the pyramids. But I do have this theory that goes against archaeological common thought, and that is that I believe that the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Mesoamericans were in contact. Like, I believe that the Mesoamericans and the Egyptians at least had some basic contact, meaning they were intrepid. And I say intrepid because they had to be brave mariners who I believe went from Africa to Mesoamerica, and they made a route of it, but they probably kept it secret because there were tremendous stores of gold and jewels and a fortune in Mesoamerica. So if you found the way there and it took you 2 months to get there. Now, the western horn of South America, as the crow flies from Africa, is not as far as like the east coast of the United States, because east coast of the United States is way over here, and the western coast of South America juts way out to the west. So Africa is not as far from that. If you go from Alexandria to South America, I mean, I believe in aliens, definitely. But I don't know if the aliens built the pyramids, you know. Yeah, there's hieroglyphics. There's Mesoamerican cave bas relief sculptures of guys inside of intricate machines too. So, I mean, I'm actually agreeing with you in some ways, but I just don't think the aliens built the pyramids. I know it's really popular to say that. I think the pyramids were built. People think progress is linear, so we're better at stuff now than we were 4,000 years ago. But that's a foolish thing to believe. That's recency bias, basically. You're saying because I exist in this world and because I have tech, electricity, electronic lighting, that the world I live in is more advanced than the world they lived in 4,000 years ago. Put this in perspective. Buildings that we built humans, modern humans, built 2,000 years ago, unless it's ancient Rome, the buildings are gone, right? But the pyramids and other buildings of the ancient Egyptians are here 5,000 years later. So I don't know, man. We couldn't even build a pyramid like one of the Giza pyramids in 100 years with like modern technology. It would take a very long time. The cranes can't hold the blocks. So how do you build that with straight manpower? It had to be they had machines that were beyond what we can understand and technology. Blame aliens for everything. Yeah, but aliens still. Yeah, Heather's with you. You know, we love that stuff. The paranormal stuff. We're into that big time. Maybe we switch. Maybe we pivot this channel to a paranormal channel. Is everybody okay with that? Good. Now it's Ghost Workshop, Aliens Workshop. Oh, that's actually a skateboard company. Sorry, Alien Workshop. Do they still exist? Appreciate everyone hanging out with me tonight on Dad's Workshop. I will be back tomorrow. We can talk more aliens and all of that good stuff. More woodworking on the side, you know, because it's not that important, right? But Daniel, Ruiz, who else was in here today? Robert G, new friend of the program. Keep Loving is going to keep showing up. Appreciate y'all. So shout out to Keep Loving. Shout out to Gandara. Shout out Ruiz. Shout out all the friends of the program. Robert G. Appreciate all y'all. Love y'all. Really do. And I'll be back tomorrow because I owe y'all another day. I believe that. And I'll see you tomorrow. Everybody take care. Hug somebody you love. This is Dad's Workshop.